The gap between cost and clarity is where wealth disappears. Windfalls often vanish before they are even felt. Discipline is delayed by a horizon that keeps moving. Time passes, but the cycle remains unchanged.
This isn't about luck, and it was never about luck. Most people believe wealth is a matter of timing or fortune, but it is actually a matter of observation. We are going to look at 9 signs that your subconscious is working against your bank account. If 6 or more of them are true for you right now, you don't have a money problem. You have a pattern running quietly in the background of every financial decision you make. Patterns can be seen. Once seen, they can be broken. It starts with radical honesty about your habits. Sign 1. You know exactly how much things cost, but never how much you actually have. You can recite the price of a coffee, a subscription, or a new pair of shoes to the cent, but your own net worth is a mystery you're afraid to solve. Prices live in your head with perfect precision. Your own balance is a vague, uncomfortable feeling you'd rather not check. This selective memory allows you to justify individual purchases while ignoring the collective damage they do to your long-term stability and peace of mind. Sign 2. Windfalls disappear faster than they arrive. You've had moments of abundance, but they never seem to stick. A bonus, a tax refund, or an unexpected gift, it all flows through your accounts without leaving a trace of the progress you intended to make. A bonus, a refund, an unexpected check. Gone within days, and you couldn't fully explain where. It's as if your mind considers extra money as free rather than a tool for leverage. Without a plan, the money finds its own way out of your life. Sign 3. You've said, "I'll start saving after this next thing," more than once this year. The next thing is a moving target. It's a holiday, a wedding, a car repair, or a seasonal sale. There is always a reason why today isn't the right day. The next thing always arrives before the saving does. This is the arrival fallacy applied to finance. You believe a future version of yourself will have more discipline, but that version of you never actually arrives because you aren't building the habits today. Sign 4. You feel a flash of resentment when someone else's plan works. When a friend talks about their investments or a colleague mentions their savings goal, your first instinct isn't celebration. It's a quiet, sharp sting of frustration at your own perceived lack of progress. That resentment is data. It's pointing at the exact discipline you haven't built yet. Instead of turning that feeling inward as shame, use it as a compass. It is showing you exactly what you value and where you feel most vulnerable in your current path. Sign 5. Your financial decisions get made at the worst possible time of day. You browse shops when you're tired or check your accounts when you're stressed. You are making permanent decisions based on temporary emotional states, ensuring the pattern continues. Decisions made in a depleted state get made from the part of you least equipped to make them. When you are tired or stressed or overwhelmed, your brain defaults to the easiest path, not the right one. This blank page represents the clarity you lose when you operate on empty. You cannot build a future on the leftovers of a long day. Sign 6. You've never actually written down what enough means to you in a real number. Without a specific target, your mind treats every increase in income as a reason to increase your lifestyle. You are running a race where the finish line moves every time you take a step. Until you define the number, you will always feel behind. The goalpost can't be missed if it was never placed. Vagueness is a defense mechanism. If you don't set a hard limit, you can't technically fail, but you also can't ever win. By keeping your goals blurry, you ensure that you stay in a perpetual state of almost there, which is the most expensive place to live. It is time to be specific. Sign 7. You know your weaknesses and still remove none of the triggers. You know which apps make you spend, which friends make you overreach, and which moods make you reckless. Yet you keep the door wide open. Awareness without action is just a sophisticated form of self-torture. You are watching the fire start while holding a bucket of water. You keep every temptation exactly as accessible as it's always been. True discipline isn't about having infinite willpower. It's about designing an environment where willpower isn't constantly required. If you have to fight yourself every single day just to stay level, you will eventually lose. The pattern thrives on your exhaustion. It waits for the moment you stop paying attention. Sign 8. Your circle treats ambition with money as slightly embarrassing to talk about. There is a quiet, unspoken agreement to keep things comfortable and vague. When excellence is treated as an outlier, you subconsciously throttle your own progress to stay within the group's invisible boundaries. Growth requires a different kind of conversation, one that might feel uncomfortable at first. You quietly absorb the rule without ever agreeing to it. You've let the collective discomfort of others dictate your financial ceiling. This ledger, cold and unremarkable, represents the truth that your social circle might find boring. But numbers don't have feelings. Your future self is the only person whose opinion on your balance actually matters. It is time to choose your own rules. Sign 9. You've outsourced the feeling of progress to spending instead of to actual numbers. You buy things to feel like you are moving forward, using objects as milestones for a journey you haven't actually mapped out. The dopamine hit of a purchase is a temporary mask for the anxiety of a stagnant account. It's time to look at the reflection and see the truth. A new purchase feels like winning. A rising number in a boring account does not. We are wired for the immediate, the tangible, and the shiny. The slow, steady accumulation of wealth lacks the theatrical flair of a new box arriving at the door. But one is a fleeting moment of excitement, while the other is the foundation of genuine, lasting freedom and security. 6 or more of these, and the pattern is confirmed. Not a character flaw, not bad luck, a set of habits running on autopilot. Recognition is the first step toward reclamation. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are an observer of your own behavior. Once the pattern is visible, it loses its power. You are now in a position to choose. Every one of these 9 is learnable to unlearn. Patterns are just neural pathways worn deep by repetition. They feel like destiny, but they are just history. You have the tools to redirect the flow. It starts with a single decision, followed by 100 small, unremarkable actions. The stone can be reshaped, and the path can be redirected toward a different destination. A new groove begins to form beside it, shallow but freshly carved. This is the beginning of discipline. It doesn't look like much today, but with every consistent choice, it deepens. You are building a new default. Soon, the right decision won't require a struggle. It will be the path of least resistance. This is how you change your financial DNA, one deliberate day at a time. This notebook represents the active recognition of the pattern. By circling the sign that hits home the hardest, you are naming the enemy. You are moving from a state of passive observation to active intervention. This isn't just a list, it's a contract with your future self. You are deciding right now that the old way of operating is no longer acceptable. Dawn breaks over a modest, quiet desk, providing a sense of resolution and clarity. The night of avoidance is over. The sun rises on a version of you that is no longer hiding from the numbers. There is a profound peace in knowing exactly where you stand, even if the road ahead is long. Clarity is the ultimate competitive advantage in a world of noise. A single steady lamp lit at a well-ordered desk, patterns visibly being rewritten. You are now the architect of your own economy. The habits that once drained you are being replaced by systems that sustain you. This is the final image of control and intentionality. The cycle is broken. Your new life begins with the very next decision you make.